Oh, my. Benny's looking good here. What are we looking at, Jim?
A lot of stuff. We got Profs, FOMO, 2 Makos, counters going up on each. Riddler. Looks like is that a null in the graveyard? I believe so. Borderless a null.
Oh, yes.
Something like that.
Is
So
one of them. No, that's a Spell Pierce.
a Spell Pierce, man.
Yep.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
We got some warped Riddlers. Pretty heavy board by Benny.
All right, Fear missing out coming down as well. Gets rid of Starting Town. 3 to Delirium. Another counter on the Mako. And my correction here, all 3 other matches are still playing. So we're going to bring you as much magic here from the top 8 as we can. And here's a Surveil with the Thundering Falls. Doing a Delirium check, I imagine.
Yeah, both players are doing the things here. You know, this is both players on kind of the Profs draws, not Cauldron draws. Post board, like you were saying, Cauldron's a little harder to do, and it's riskier. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of likely for most players to shave down a bit because you don't want to be in a spot where you just have to discard a VV and they go nab it. So a little more about Profs, a little more about board presence, and this kind of FOMO prosthetic memory combo deck.
Yeah. Yeah, and for what it's worth, in the mirror, what I was always doing was keep it all in on the play, take out 2 VV on the draw. No idea if that's correct. There's no, one way that is like, hey, this is what you should be doing, and that is what makes the mirror really awesome, So here is Profs with FOMO here. That Surveil of the Into the Floodmaw did get Delirium here, so we got some damage in. We untapped. Now it looks like Jack is looking where to put this other counter and if to attack again.
Good place to be.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Okay, good, solid prof battlefields here from both players. About as close to a mirror match as you can get here, but it is Benny's turn to act. So, Benny can really pop off here, and with only 1 blue available, you do have a lot of cards you could have. Spell Pierce, which is, well, all right, it's Spell Pierce, so I'll stop what I was going to say right there.
Yeah, and Benny going to pay. This will limit Benny's turn a little bit, but all these draws, all these discards, 2 Makos in play, Profs going off, counters are going everywhere this turn.
Okay, big question. Can Benny now get Delirium? You can discard 2 cards. You could discard land, creature, instead of, just creature or whatever. Get Delirium. 3 counters from Profs can go on the FOMO or whatever. The Makos will both grow as well. And then you'll get another combat, and you'll be able to distribute more counters. So 6 counters from the Prof is coming down. I don't believe we've made a land drop as well, so it can be more with this Winter Night Stories being harmonized with that 4/4 Mako.
Really is an impressive amount of power being added to the board for a card draw spell.
Yes.
This is like a divination or whatever, sorcery, and all of a sudden, counters, Makos, discards, Profs, double combat steps.
This is pretty interesting here. So I was like, you want to discard more than just a creature to make sure you get Delirium. FOMO is a creature and enchantment, so you could have just discarded that, but the extra Starting Towns, not that great. You want to discard more cards to maximize your Quantum Riddlers at this stage of the game.
I think it's the discard, it's the counters on the Makos. Also,
yeah, that too, yep.
You might want to flashback to Winter Night Stories, in which case you would lose your Delirium. So you would have, now you have enchantment, land, instant, creature, the sorcery's gone. So little heads up, I think, for sizing and as well as preemptively maintaining for Delirium for later.
Yep, amen to that. So beginning of combat here, first combat going on the FOMO.
It's quite the song and dance because both players have the ability to output a ton of damage with these FOMOs and the Profs. So you gotta fire in for a good attack, make sure you're not dead to a removal spell in the backswing.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you also kind of want to leave back one of the creatures, because if you attack with all 3 creatures, whatever one you untap with Fear of Missing Out, that's the one you just go to block, because then you don't have another creature that can attack. You can get more counters, you'll still get a second combat, but you won't be able to attack with that creature, and, Benny could just die on the flip side of that, for sure, So big turn. Big turn.
Thinking it through, doing the math on both sides. Offense, defense, how much can I attack for? Do I have enough blockers?
Okay, I like this attack. Untap the big one, untap the big Mako, or untap the Fear of Missing Out. Interesting either way.
I would think the Mako, right? It's bigger for the next attack, and then if you want to hold back on D, it's bigger on defense.
Yeah, if you untap the Mako, though, you just triple block that, and then it won't get to attack again. Basically, whatever creature you untap is probably what Jack is going to kill. So then you just think, okay, which one is worse to get blocked? Which one's worse to die? And, I mean, a tapped FOMO that's going to do this again next turn, I would rather have laying around. So this is saying, if you kill my FOMO, I'm going to hit you hard with Mako's next combat. And if you kill my Mako, I get to keep my best creature, which is the FOMO.
Now it's Jack's turn to do some math. It's a tough thing to balance. How much can you take? How much can you do next turn?
Exactly.
What are you pushing through?
Because now the ball is really in Jack's court. Like, there is some more action that can happen as far as Benny's decisions, and that is, do you attack again or do you hold these Makos back? So there's still one more point of, complexity that Benny's going to do. But for the most part, Jack knows what he can expect for next turn.
This is a pretty interesting sequence where it really is like a Spider-Man meme. We have both players having Fear of Messing Out, Mako's, Pross. Both players have one stories in the graveyard. So it's not like one player has more resources than the other.
Yeah.
They really are quite mirrored here.
It really is. An absolute mirror match. And, say what you will about mirror matches being aplenty here because Is It Cauldron is the best deck. The mirror matches are really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've heard that on the floor. I've heard players saying, listen, I get this isn't necessarily the most diverse format.
Yeah.
But the games aren't bad. The games are interesting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kind of reminds me a little like, when Dimir Fairies was kind of the deck for quite a while. That mirror match was awesome. Maybe a little different there, but.
That was a deck I would always go 6-2 with.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wasn't good enough at it.
You got to suspend more Ancestral Recalls into Bitter Blossoms then, it sounds like.
Oh, my God. That's what I was doing.
Exactly. Yeah, when you don't do that, your win percentage probably went down. All right, so now we are deciding in the second bit of combat from Benny where to put the Pross counters again and if to attack. If you attack, you do put Jack into the abyss here where, well, you have to block with one of them. You have to chump block, but then do you die to the FOMO if your opponent plays a Tersa or something? Like, I think it's a little safer to hold back, but I'm really not sure.
Even just the stories in the graveyard, right? You cast stories. That's 3. That's 6. It's 9 and 11, 12. It's not quite 16, but.
So here's the flip side. If you don't attack and your opponent finds like an Into the Flood Maw, now all of a sudden you got to keep an extra creature. So it might be right to attack it. It's tough. All right, Benny's all in. Here's the Surveil. And now Benny just hopes. I hope I get to play another turn is what Benny's thinking. I like this play, though. After thinking about it, I think you need to attack, even though Jack can do some damage here.
Yeah, I think 16's high enough. I agree.
High enough to be safe?
Yes.
I don't know if I do believe that, to be honest. Because even Quantum Riddler into Winter Night Stories, that's 4 cards. That would be 7, and then plus 4 again. And there it is.
All right.
That's 7 plus 4 again. That's 11. That's 18. This is lethal. This is Jack Potter advancing. Because Quantum Riddler draws 1. Winter Night Stories will draw 3 more. That's 4 counters on Prof. 3 plus 4 is 7. Then 7 plus 4 is 11. You add 7 and 11 together. That's 18.
That sounded like good math to me.
That's 1920.
Overkill.
I think Jack's flexing. I mean, this is a true. And it's that's 21-22 because of the Riddler. I mean, this is every Amulet player ever. You don't just win. You do everything you can do with the deck, and then you win.
It ain't worth winning if you can't win big.
This is going to be Jack Potter advancing to the top 4. As long as it doesn't accidentally lose Delirium, that Winter Night Story should be exiled. And that is it. Jack Potter wins an incredible, incredible game. Oh, wow. That was